ready? All right. Well, welcome. I know this is probably a short crowd because we have someone talking from Google on the other room about machine learning, BigQuery, and stuff like that. But I'm glad that you're here because I expect that you're going to learn something new today. And it's very exciting because there's going to be a lot of different technologies I'm going to expose and how you can leverage them for different things that you might do in the future. I would like to know if you are currently working in technology or you're students. You're working in technology, yeah? Are you a student or what? Okay, cool. Well, bonjour, that's the only word I know in French. Thankfully, the session is not in French, so I'm good. My name is Kevin Blanco. I work as a senior developer relations on a company called AppSmith. I'm also a Google developer expert in Google Cloud Platform, and I have a background in working for many tech companies around the globe. I've been working for digital agencies and software companies like IBM. I actually work with IBM Watson, building solutions on the top of that specific service for artificial intelligence, and also I've been working as a tech director, building software and building cloud platforms for many companies. And also I've been working a lot with the communities, and that's why I'm mostly traveling around the world, speaking about the Google products and speaking about how can we leverage all of these tools that we have at our disposal to build technology that actually solve problems. That photo over there, it's me pretending to have everything under control. But that's not the case. I'm usually just trying to figure out things and then trying to explain that to you and how can we understand the different technology solutions that we have at our disposal. If you want to take photos and publish it, or you want to share those photos with me or follow me, those are my social accounts. You can follow me on Instagram, on YouTube, on X, or what's called Twitter. And also, I'd love to get you on my YouTube channel, where I also publish videos about the different stuff that I'm going to explain to you and other topics. So before we get started, I wanted to be really transparent about something that I feel, and I don't know if it's the same for you, but when I, for example, see different videos about the launches that Google is doing or other companies are doing around technology, sometimes I have to be transparent that I feel overwhelmed. And the question I have for you is if you feel the same, that sometimes you feel, for example, the Google Cloud Next or the Google I/O and all of the things that Google is announcing. If you see the other sessions that we have, there was a lot of topics, and I don't know if you feel overwhelmed, but sometimes I do. And that's true. The way that technology is progressing, it's even more steady and more steady. You know, we see like 15, 20, 25 years ago, we have very basic computers that only have like very little memory and CPU processing. And the way things are progressing, like I said, they're more steady. Things are going even faster. And it's hard to keep up with how technology is progressing. So I wanted to give you an advice on how you can approach this. Instead of feeling overwhelmed or instead of feeling that you don't know everything out there, you have to wonder, what is my mission? It's my mission to know everything or every little thing that it's out there, or is my mission something else? And the way I answer this question is, my mission is to solve problems. I have customers, or I work for a company, or I work for developer communities, and at the end, I'm trying to solve problems. And how do I solve those problems? By enabling innovation. So if you think about it that way, you don't have to know everything. You just have to understand the big picture, understand what's available for you, and then if you face any type of problems where those solutions might be a good fit, then you can elaborate and learn more about those technologies, but you don't have to know everything on the top of your head. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you some tools, some ideas, some approaches that you can use to maybe in the future or in your current work or the current company you're at, you can maybe implement to solve some of those problems. And that's great because when you think about it that way, at least for me, I feel better because I don't feel anxiety or I don't feel overwhelmed about not knowing everything that it's out there. So how do I approach problem solving? Here is a way that I normally think about when I'm trying to enable innovation. It's don't reinvent the wheel. There's a lot of things out there that you can use to solve the different problems that you have. And normally, the way that I put it is using this catchphrase that I actually use in the Google I/O Extended that we had in Toronto. I was also speaking over there, which is build apps that fill gaps. So normally we have all of this technology out there, but you have to put them together, glue them together to solve a problem, and all you have to do is fill the gaps that all of those solutions out there are not filling. And that's basically what you have to do. And I'm going to give you some technologies, some platforms, and some solutions that you can put together and build problem-solving technology. So those are going to be Vertex AI for search and conversation, Duet AI, and then AppSheet and AppSpeed. Have you heard about Vertex AI? Yep. Have you used Vertex AI? Nope. Okay. Have you heard about Duet AI? AppSheet? AppSpeed? Cool. So you're going to learn something new today. That's good. I'm glad. With that, I'm more than happy. So Vertex AI, it's basically a huge engine that Google has that have a lot of different machine learning models already pre-entrained that knows about different topics. And you can train, and you can use those models, pre-trained for the different data and information that you have. So in this case, Vertex AI is going to ingest the data that you have. It's going to learn about the data that you have. And then when it learns it, you can use it for multiple things. For example, a search capability, or a chat capability, or many other different things. I'm going to show you in one example using a conversational capability, which basically is going to learn certain data. And the good thing, and I'm going to show you even further, is that it can't learn not only from text, but also from images and videos. And that's really cool because it's going to understand information from your images, from PDFs, from videos. It's going to structure that data and use it to solve business problems, which is what I'm trying to show you. I don't know if you have never built a search solution, but most of the searching solutions out there, like Elasticsearch or Meilisearch or any other type of search capability, what it does is that it takes textual data, it indexes that information, and then it's going to somehow match what people are searching, normally by keyword, with the data that is on the database. So that's what it does. It's just trying to match textual information to textual information. Yeah, some other have capabilities around geo search and things like that, but it's not as powerful as what we're going to see with Vertex AI. So this is like, for example, a problem to solve. Again, I'm trying to approach the examples with problems that you might solve, and then how to innovate, filling a gap with Vertex AI. So what does Vertex AI do for us? First of all, generative AI summarization. I guess you have heard the word generative AI, right? It's all over the place, and if you haven't heard before, everyone is talking about it. Google is talking about it. Generative AI, at the end, is just artificial intelligence that is generating something that doesn't exist. That is why it's called generative, because it generates something out of nothing. For example, it can generate an image that doesn't exist. It's not the same as searching an existing image. It's creating a new image. That is why it's called generative AI. It's the same thing with videos. It can generate a video out of nothing. And it uses something called LLM, which stands for Large Language Models. So that's what Vertex AI does. Then you can, for example, customize the different machine learning models that already exist for your own benefit to solve a business problem. So Vertex AI is going to be grounded, or is going to be based on different types of data. It could be on structured data, so data that doesn't have any structure. It could be on website data, which is really cool, that literally we can grab existing data that is already on a website, get it on a Vertex AI model, and then use all the information that it's going to learn to build a search experience. And then structured data. Structured data could be a database, could be a JSON file, it could be anything like that. So that's really powerful because the example that I'm going to show you is I'm going to take the data from the Google Store website. I'm going to get Vertex AI to learn everything from the products on the Google Store, the products, the colors, the guarantee, everything, because everything is already on the website. So why do we have to do something extra to get a machine learning model to learn it if it's already on a website? There you go. That's an example of an app that is filling a gap. Something very quick that it solves a big problem. And then you have data connectors. Basically, Google gave us data connectors to access that data in multiple ways, connected to different services. So that's what Vertex AI is on general terms. Obviously, we could go deep into it, but this is something very broad. So how do we ingest data? Like I said already, website data, unstructured data, structured data, or even with connectors or third-party integrations like Jira, Salesforce, Confluence, et cetera, which is great because if your company or the company you might work in the future uses any of these platforms like Salesforce or Jira or any other of the connectors like MongoDB, you can pull the data from those existing services that are not in Google Cloud and then get Vertex AI to learn about those. And if you have any question at any time, please feel free to do it. Don't wait at the end. So like I said, Vertex AI gives us out-of-the-box developer experience. And what is really cool, what I wanted to highlight from this slide, is that it's a semantic search. It's not a search by keyword. It's not that I'm looking for Kevin Blanco, and it's going to find records that says Kevin Blanco at some point, like a document or something like that. No, it is a semantic search. It's searching by meaning and not only by keyword. And that is great because Vertex AI is going to use the different machine learning algorithms to understand what we're trying to say on a sentence. For example, it can understand sentiment analysis, which is really powerful because if it's understanding that maybe the person is angry or is being positive or is being negative, it can give different responses based on that specific topic. And that's very powerful because it's not only, like I said, searching by a specific keyword, it can search by different other meanings, and that's, again, very powerful. And with generative AI, like I said, we can generate things on the fly that doesn't exist. So for example, maybe we want to have a Vertex AI conversational experience that is going to process payments or tickets for a concert. It can generate a ticket, like an image of the ticket that doesn't exist with the data of the purchase that you already did. And again, that's super powerful. So let's have a demo. I have a demo prepared for you. Actually, yeah, sure.
That's really nice. So one thing I was wondering about is like often there's very much computational data in those systems. So how is that being handled? A lot of companies are skeptical of opening their data open cloud software.
Yes.
Like do like locally, but how do you deal with that?
Yeah, confidential data and the importance of it is something that Google cares about. So if you connect your data to the machine learning models that Vertex AI have, is going to stay within the context of your Google Cloud project. Google is not going to learn from it to do something in the future or something for themselves. It's like you have your own like little Google search for your own company within the constraints of your data. It's not going to, again, use any of that information. That's what Google proposes and what they say on their confidentiality contract, which is we are not going to learn from your data. If you connect your data from your databases, your third-party connectors, it's still yours. It's just that a machine learning is already existing. It's going to be copied to your workspace. It's going to learn from your data and then work for you. But it remains within the constraint of the Google project. Cool. So let me just arrange the displays here. Nope, sorry. Okay, so mirroring, that's great. Here it is. Exit full screen. There you go. So here we are in Google Cloud Platform. Is this something familiar to you? Have you ever used Google Cloud Platform before? Yeah, no? Okay. You can create your own account. Just go to cloud.google.com. It gives you $300 for free, so you can use on any of the Google services. $300, believe me, it's a lot of money to spend on Google services. It's going to let you do a lot of things. So if you don't have an account, go and create a new account on Google Cloud Platform, and then you will be able to use, for example, the Jumpstart solutions, which is already pre-built solutions that you can test it out to put something out there in production. So whenever you go to Google Cloud, you will see something like this, and you have all the catalog of services on the left. You have Compute Engine, which is for virtual machines. You have Kubernetes, Cloud Storage, BigQuery, Cloud Run, etc. And here on the top, you can search for whatever type of service. In this case, I'm going to search for Gen App Builder, which is, again, the generative AI application builder. I already have one because when we index data, when we ingest data to Vertex AI, like I said, it's going to take some time. So I already have it prepared, but I'm going to show you how to do it. Super simple. You said, I want to create a new app, and that application can be of a given type. It can be a search experience, like I said. It's going to index the data and then provide a searching experience, very similar to the Google one, but only focus on the data that you ingested. So it can even create PDFs or images, again, because it's generative AI working on the fly. Then you have chat, which is a way to, again, answer complex questions out of the box with your data once Vertex AI learn about it, and you can modify in the future the workflows and the connections. I'm going to show you how to do it. Or recommendations, which is a preview feature. It's still in beta. Not everyone can access it, but it's, again, a way to build a recommendation engine that is going to be learning on the fly with new information that is being ingested. So I'm going to use chat because that's what I want to do. I'm just going to put a name here, a test, and again, test here. Going to leave it like that. And then I can ingest a new or existing data store. I'm going to create a new data store so I can show you how easy it is to ingest the data. Again, it could be a website URL. I can just grab a URL and tell Google, learn from this. Or I can use BigQuery. If you have never used BigQuery, it's a super powerful data warehouse system that basically can have tons and tons of data, and you can create different queries and data analysis out of that information. Again, super powerful. That's for big data systems. Then you have cloud storage, which is just buckets. You can have images, PDFs, etc. Or APIs, which is a way to get data from different services on a structured manner. I'm just going to select cloud storage because that's where I have the data. And I'm just going to copy this cloud storage, which you can also use. It's a public cloud storage of all the data from the Google Store. It's a sample of the Google Store. You can also use it, and I can share it if you want to use it for your own demo. And here you will select if it is a structured data or a JSON data or a CSV. You can also ingest like a CSV, like an Excel file. That's totally fine. I'm going to leave it like that, and then I'm going again, name it test data. And that's it. What Vertex AI is going to do now is it's going to take all the data that I give it, and it's going to start learning about it. Again, that might take some time. So that's why I have this pre-trained model that is the same one that I just created, but it's not going to take time because we already have it pre-trained. So here it is. It's ingested, but it's still not analyzed. But I have this available that I'm going to show you here. There you go. This is the Google store. It's the same one that I just ingested, but it's already trained. As we can see here, it has this green checkbox. It says, yes, I learned everything from there. And if we go down here, we will be able to see what it's actually the data that it learned from. I can click on an example if I want to. And there you go. This is the actual Google store. So it actually learned about everything from the Google store. The products from Google, like cameras, like phones, like Google Nest, like AirBots, etc. It learned all of the data from the Google store. So that means that it's ready to be used on either a search experience or a chat experience. So let me go back to the presentation, because this first portion is just on how to ingest the data, which is what we just did. Super easy, right? No coding experience needed. You don't need to be a machine learning engineer. You just grab data that you have, ingest it, and Vertex AI is going to learn it. Now let's go to the second portion, which is the search experience, which again, it can be a search experience like Google, that you go in and type, or a conversational experience, which for me it's a bit more interesting for a demo. So let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed when you're actually talking to a chatbot? Because I do. I don't know if you go to maybe an airline conversation or a bank or a company that is actually using a chatbot instead of a human interaction. Like you notice it right away, because it's not natural. A conversation with a chatbot, you can really notice it's a machine, because it's not answering like a human being. It's not a natural conversation. So it's something like this. For example, it gives you a message like this, and it's going to tell you what you can do. You can say, buy a ticket, event information, or gift card. So it's constraining you to the things that you can do. And then you start the conversation, buy a ticket. I can't say, oh, hello, I want to buy a ticket, because sometimes it doesn't understand. It's going to tell you, oh, sorry, I didn't understand that. And then the conversation workflow is really structured, because it gives you the steps that it needs to do whatever it's meant to be doing. In this case, for example, buying a ticket, okay. You want to do it in the New York area? No. Okay, what city do you want to do? San Francisco. I think you said San Francisco. It's California, right? Yes. What's the name of the event? The orchestral concert. We have 2 dates for the events, the 5th and the 6th. Which one would you like? And then there's some mistakes over there that it's not going to understand. For example, please stand by for a few important information. How many tickets do you want to buy? And you say, I want to buy 2 tickets. But it doesn't understand, because it was expecting only a number, like just the number 2. Oh, I couldn't understand that. And I can have that experience with chatbots most of the times. So Vertex AI with conversational workflows can allow us to have more natural experiences, conversational experiences, instead of doing something like a chatbot. How can I help you? Hey, I want to buy 2 tickets for the orchestral concert in San Francisco. Boom, it already understands everything for you, because it uses the natural language processing services from Google, and Vertex AI is going to be able to understand everything you said over there. It doesn't have to go step by step like the standard. And there's a reason behind that I'm going to explain to you. Okay, I see that there are 2 upcoming dates available, the May the 6th and May the 7th. Which one are you interested? May the 7th, please. And let me just gather your payment information and get the ticket sent to your email address or phone number. Sure thing, I'd like to pay with my credit card, and it's going to get the data from your credit card from your existing Google account, and boom, just like that, in 3 messages, you have the tickets that you need without hustle. And there is a reason behind having a chatbot conversation, being a natural workflow, so hard, and it's because you have to create intents. And building intent-based conversation is really hard, because you have to define every single possible flow and every single possible action. So a common conversational flow might have more than 300 pages and 500 routes, which results can be overwhelming, and sometimes it's going to get lost. That is why building a conversational workflow, and there's an example from one that I built, is really hard, because you have to understand every possible thing that a customer is going to say. And that is unpredictable. You know, people have many ways to express themselves. So with Vertex AI Conversation, it's a multimodal chat, voice, image, and more. Again, it can even understand images. I can just send an image to the chat, and it's going to process the image and see what's on the image and analyze the image. So it's super powerful. Generative AI responses combined with deterministic business logic. And then we have a low-code bot builder, which again, with no coding experiences whatsoever, you can have something built solving a business problem, and you don't have to write a single piece of code. That is why this session is focused on no-code and low-code solution. Everything we're going to do right now, we're not going to write any single piece of code. So let's have an example for this. And actually, I might need some of you to make a phone call for this example. Now that we have the data store trained, let me just view here.
I have a question.
Sure.
So, is this already integrated with the cloud, Google Cloud solution?
Yeah.
So, for example, if I want to deploy an environment with server, database, website, whatever, and can I just use it as a Google?
Yeah.
And say, okay, create some virtual machines and deploy it.
So this is specifically for conversational purposes, but I'm going to show you how to use Duet AI, which is the next topic, to create artifacts as well. So here I have, this is Dialogflow. This is the conversational platform that it uses the data that we trained, okay? So remember, we gave it data from the Google Store. So you have all the information from the Google Store, and this is where I can start creating a flow of my conversation. But I don't know anything about this. I'm not a machine learning expert. I'm not a conversational builder guy. That's fine, because since we already trained with generative AI features, we really don't have to do anything. We can just come here to the example one and test the agent. I'm going to talk and say, hello, to kick off the conversation. And it's going to tell me, hey, how can I help you? So I have some examples here of questions that I can do, but again, this is not something that I have pre-prepared. You can ask anything from any Google product. I mean, if you want to ask something, just tell me and I can ask it, or you will be able to do it right now with your own phone. So I'm going to ask it, hey, how long does the battery in the Pixel 7 Pro last? So it's going to go through all of the data that we give it. It could be image data, it could be PDF, it could be videos, and it's because it learned everything from there. And it's capable to telling us the battery life of the Pixel Pro is approximately 31 hours. And it's going to give you the payload from where it got the data exactly. So that's really cool, because we just built something that learned all of the data from the Google Store. There's a lot of pages. And it's going to answer questions about the different Google products. Let me just, I don't know. Like taking the user to the actual page? No. Or? Oh, yeah, but the data set that we give it doesn't have the Pixel 8 yet. But the cool stuff is if you select website URL instead of a cloud storage bucket, which is where I had all the data already downloaded, yes, if, for example, Google launches a new product, release a new website, Vertex AI will index that data and learn from it again. Because you just tell, hey, I want to learn everything from google.com, store.google.com. And it's going to go to all of the sub-pages below or underneath store.google.com, and it's going to be re-indexing data that is new. So yeah, it can do that. Also with BigQuery, if you have a BigQuery data set, it has certain data, and then you ingest, I don't know, 5 terabytes of data right now. It's going to retrain again. Yes. And yeah, we can ask, I don't know, what, just something out of my mind, not pre-prepared. What colors does the Google Nest have? It's not even a good grammatically question. The Google Nest is available in the colors snow, linen, ivy, and ash. And I didn't even knew that. So that's an example, and we can continue just talking with this chat because it's already pre-trained. And here on the left, we have a mechanism to integrate this with multiple services. We can do certain things. For example, webhooks. You can say, all right, if, I don't know, somebody says on the conversation, your answer is not correct, that's going to trigger a webhook to retrain or to maybe grab what the user were asking to maybe keep a record of the things that it didn't answer correctly. That's a webhook. It's just a way to do something when something's triggered. And I define what's the trigger. routine groups, I can say, I don't know, a route group, sorry. You can say, I'm going to group all of these different actions to certain reactions. But where I wanted to go is to the integrations, because this is probably the most powerful thing. We have a trained model. I didn't do anything. I didn't program anything. And I can start integrating my already trained model to Google Chat, to Messenger, to Slack, Twilio messaging, Telegram, etc. And I'm actually going to do something right now. I'm going to create a phone number so people can actually call to my company. It's going to be a United States phone number. And I'm going to request one. Let's pick, I don't know, whatever here. Conversational profile settings. Let's call Kevin. The environment is draft. And save. And there you go. In theory, this should work. And again, this is just a demo, but will anybody here be interested in dialing in this phone? And asking whatever you want about the Google product? Just put it on speaker so we can all hear it. Anyone? Okay, I see she's going to do it. +1 786 549 1887. Talk to it. Ask anything about what any product.
Where is the closest McDonald's to McGill University in Montreal?
Ask about a product, whatever.
So, is there any promotion today on any products? Yes. Is there any Google product? Is there any Google product on sale today? Yes.
Maybe hang up and try it again and ask about product feature or whatever from any product.
It's from Miami, the number.
Oh, okay.
What's the cost of Google Home product?
Well, I gave you the link on the phone. Well, there you go. That's a not perfectly working demo, which means that we can do either one of two things. Train the model to not give any links, which I can just tell it with Duet AI. Right now I'm going to show you. Or we can do a webhook like the one that I just showed you and create a webhook for when it is not answering correctly. Like the example that you told you, it didn't have the answer. I can just create a webhook or all of the instances that it didn't answer correctly. Just, for example, store on a Google Sheet or on a database of all of the answers that it couldn't respond back, and then I can just ingest data about the things that it couldn't answer. I don't know, if somebody else want to give it a shot and call, maybe ask something like, for example, is the Pixel Watch water resistant, or does the Pixel Watch track sleep, or anything like that, that in theory, at least these questions I tried, so it should be able to answer. Or I can even call myself. Let me see if I can call. Since I don't have a Canadian phone, I'm using my Costa Rican phone. By the way, I'm from Costa Rica. I don't know if I told you. 549 1887. Nope, I can't call from this because I'm using roaming. Anyway, the phone is going to stay there. Actually, I'm going to leave it enabled because this video is being recorded, so anyone who's also watching the video can use this phone. I'm going to keep it maybe for a couple of weeks. It's not going to spend any money on myself, on my account. So if you want to give it a shot maybe later on, you can also give it a shot and ask about Google products. The other thing is the sample data that I gave, and let me just go back so I can show you. Cloud. So the sample data I give it is just 158 documents. So it's just information about 158 products from the Google store. It's a very small data sample. So the less data you have, the probably less accurate answers it's going to give you. If probably you have a database with tons of records, with tons of data and information, it's better because the data model is going to be better trained with things to answer. And we can even see, like, it's just a few records of the different data from the data store, from a Google sample of the data store. So let's go back here. So that's an example of how you can leverage Vertex AI and Dialogflow to build a conversational experience. And if you don't want to do a conversational, but actually like a search experience, like a search box that also responds to the user, is the same. Instead of selecting chat, you will select search. You, again, ingest with data. And after the data is ingested, you can start asking questions about it, and it's going to give you some answers. I definitely encourage you to try it out on your own house. Again, using a Google Cloud account, a new account is going to give you $300 of credit to spend. That's going to be good enough. You don't have to pay for anything up front. Just give it a shot, and I would like to know if you do it, maybe you can tag me on your own sample. Then we have Duet AI. Duet AI is just, again, a mechanism that uses generative AI, which is something like the thing we just saw on Vertex AI, but in this case is trained with all of the data from Google Cloud. That means that we can ask Duet AI on how to do anything on Google Cloud. So that's great, because if you don't know anything about Google Cloud, about building services or products or software in Google Cloud, that's fine. It's already trained with all the information from Google Cloud, and you can ask questions like, for example, how do I update an IAM policy using G-Cloud? And it's going to give you the exact command that you can run. Boom. Just like that, you update your IAM policy. Or like the question that he made, how can I create a virtual machine that installs MongoDB version 7.9? Boom. It's going to give you the command you just have to run, and it's going to open the console. So all you have to do is just click enter, and it's going to build the services for you. Also, it knows things about, for example, policies and documentation and prices. So you can ask things like, how much is going to cost to have a database running on Google Cloud for an entire year that is going to probably have around like 40 gigabytes? That's fine. You can ask anything, it's going to ask you very accurately. Also, it integrates with the Visual Studio or IntelliJ IDE. So if you write code with Visual Studio Code or with any of the different products from IntelliJ, like Android Studio or any of the development environments from IntelliJ, you just download the plugin and you can ask questions without leaving your code editor. So that's super powerful because we are humans, and as humans, we can do mistakes. Google Cloud is just a service. And you, for example, can create a virtual machine and leave it unattended, and it's going to increase your expenses. Or you can create a virtual machine that is not securely stored, and somebody can just access that information. So the good thing is if you ask Duet AI about things, it's going to give you the best response in the context of Google Cloud from a security standpoint, from a best practices, etc. So again, it's an AI-powered collaborator. It's something that you can have next to you to help you build things. How do you see it? Super simple. When you are on the Google Cloud interface, you're going to see this thing right on the top here. And that's it. That's where you can start asking questions. Like, for example, how do I create a virtual machine in the Europe zone that has 30 gigabytes of storage? That's what I need. And Duet AI is going to basically take your prompt and is going to give you an answer on how you can do it. And here it's going to give you the different steps on how you can do that. I can also ask to give me actual commands. What's the command to create a new, let's say, service account in Google Cloud? So here it is. This is how I can create a new service account with the CLI, and I can just copy to Cloud Shield, and Cloud Shield is going to be opened, and then I can just hit enter. I just need to fill the description and the display name. That's all I have to change, the description and the display name, and it's going to create a new service account in my Google Cloud account. So without having to know anything about, for example, the G-Cloud CLI, which is the command line interface, you can start working with Google Cloud and asking questions right in the context of Google Cloud. This is a preview feature. That means it's still being worked by Google, but it's going to get better and better. But I've been using it for my day-to-day, and it actually works pretty nicely. Like, for example, I don't know everything about Google Cloud, although I'm a Google expert in that area, but I don't know everything. I can just ask whatever I'm trying to figure it out. Instead of going on Google and searching Stack Overflow or someplace else, I just ask here. I don't know how do I enable identity-aware proxy that it blocks requests from Europe? Boom, it gives me the Google Cloud Console command. I just run it, and it works. So that's what Duet AI is. I'm not here to talk about Duet AI in the context of Google Cloud, but in the context of workspace apps. So the cool thing is that workspace, I don't know if you have used Gmail or any product from Google, probably yes, we'll have Gmail. So workspace is basically a mechanism that companies can use to use all of the Google products, but within the company itself. So if companies have like a, I don't know, at google.com or at your company.com domain, they can have all of the workspaces, so everyone can have an email from that specific domain. That's workspace. It's basically all of the Google products for given companies. I don't know if you work on a company right now, but if they do, if you do, sorry, they might have some sort of email service. They might use Google Workspace. If you go into your email and it looks like Gmail, it's probably because they use Workspace. So again, Workspace is just a way of Google of selling their products within their companies. And one of the many services that is getting powered by Duet AI, and again, this is just one example. Duet AI is going to be available, for example, on the Google Slides. If you want to create a presentation about something and you don't even know how to create a presentation, you can ask Duet AI, I need a slide that talks about what is revenue. It's going to create the slide for you. Or maybe you're in a conversation or an email and you say, I want to answer my child's teacher about my child being sick, and let's create a very formal email about telling her that my child is not going to go to school because it's sick, and it generates the email. See, yeah. Yeah, there's many videos that you can just go to YouTube and find Duet AI on Workspace, and you will see how to, an example, it's super easy. But one of those multiple services is AppSheet. So AppSheet is a mechanism, it's a platform that you can use to build applications without having to write code. That said, it's not a simple tool. It requires some knowledge of the tool itself. You have to start learning the tool, how to create a data store, how to create a view of a page, how to pull the data from a database and show it on a way on the view. It requires certain knowledge on the tool, but it's very simple. So let's say you want to build a job tracker, for example. It's an application that manages different open positions. You can do it with AppSheet, but you will have to create a database. Again, you don't need to write code, super simple. And it looks like this. When you go to AppSheet, you have your databases and your applications. You can create a new database. Again, it's all very visual, but it requires certain knowledge of the platform. So here I have a sample database. I can start creating new columns and new records. And when I have my database ready, I can create an application that works with the database I just created. That's AppSheet. But I'm not here to tell you about AppSheet. I'm here to tell you about how you can use Duet AI to create an AppSheet app without having to write a single piece of code. Again, this is a demo. It might work, it might not work. But all you have to do is just install the Duet AI in AppSheet application. And when you do that, here I am in my Gmail. I mean, this is my company's Gmail. And all I have to do is go to chat, and there I will have my Duet AI in AppSheet app. So I can talk to it. And Duet AI in AppSheet, behind the scenes, uses Vertex AI and the conversational things that I showed you before. So here it's going to tell me, hey, I can build an app for you. What do you want to build? So there's multiple things you can ask. I have a demo here, which is, again, something that I tried before coming here, but you can ask anything. I'm asking, hey, I have a movie asset company for camera and light equipment. I need an application to manage the assets and a way for my team to request one of these assets. Each asset has a name, a description, a type, a location, and a picture. Employees have name, email address, and role. They should fill out a form that explains why they are requesting that asset and where they're going to be using and the return date. So here I explain what I want in a conversational manner. I told what different type of fields I need and how the application is going to work. The more detailed you get, the more accurate it's going to be. This is just an example, but if you get very detailed about what you need, the more accurate it's going to be. So I'm going to hit enter and see if it works. All right. This says my session expired. Let me ask again. And it's going to tell me, all right, I propose to you this structure. I give you the structure of your database like this, but you can change it. I'm going to give you an employees table, which is going to have these fields, a requests table that is going to have these fields, and an assets table that is going to have these fields. That's the app sheet proposal, but I can edit it. I can say, all right, yeah, name looks good, email looks good, but role is not a number. I want role to be a enumeration list. And I want roles to be admin, crew, and let me go back here. Single select list. I don't know, this my employees table. Good. Then assets. Assets is going to have an asset ID. That's cool. An employee ID, which is going to be the actual employee who's going to be assigning that a specific asset. Then we have a reason. Reason is not going to be a number. I want to be the text for somebody to say, I'm requesting this asset for X, Y, and Z. Location, I don't want to be a number. I actually want location to be some sort of actual location. But I'm just going to leave it like text for now. Return date is a datetime. That looks great. Let me save it. And then asset is going to have a name. That's cool. A description, a type. Again, I want a type to be something that people can select from. Location, I don't want to be a number. I want it to be a text again. And picture, it's cool to be an image. Now type, I'm going to say it could be a camera, it could be a microphone, or it could be a source of light. This is just an example again. But here you can see how I'm interacting with it. I'm changing the way that Do It AI proposed to me. Or I can even do it in a conversational way. I can say, I like the role to be of type crew, or productor, or actor, and it's going to change the structure without having to do it myself. All right, it looks good. I'm going to go to notifications. And this is very powerful because since AppSheet, it's integrated with Workspace, it's going to have all of the records from the different users on my Google account. So it means that it can send notifications to different people. I'm going to say that when somebody creates a new request, I want to have an email notification. I could also enable for assets or for employees, but I'm going to say just for requests. So that way, when somebody creates a request, the person that is requesting the asset and also the owner of the asset is going to get an email. That over there is a full app. Like, if you have never coded before, that over there is a project that might take 6 months to build, like to create the databases, the workflows, the roles, the users, the webhooks, the notifications. Everything over there is a full application. We're just doing it in 2 minutes. And I'm going to say create app, and let's see if it works, because again, this is like in a preview. So it's going to open AppSheet, and it's going to do what I told it to do. So it's setting up the database, it's creating the views, it's creating the webhooks, it's creating the email notification, it's creating everything. And just like that, it's done. And it actually is going to create some sample data so we can see it in action. So here on the left, we have data, views, actions, and automations. On data, we have the tables that we told it to create. On the views, we have the views that we told it to create. The views are the actual things that the user is going to see. So we can even test it out. Here's the app. Like I said, it created some requests for us. The request probably doesn't make any sense because it's just sample data. But I can go to the assets and create maybe a new asset. I can create a new camera. Let's say a Blackmagic camera. Blackmagic Pocket 4K. It's going to be a camera. Location is going to be in Montreal right now. And I can even upload a picture. And I'm going to put my office picture here. And there you go. I just saved a new asset, and it's being right now synced on the database. And there you go. That's the asset. Now I have the employees. This is, again, something that Google created for me as a sample, but I can create a new employee. So I'm going to create myself, my email, and I'm going to be a director. Awesome. I always wanted to be a director. And now I can create a new request. Let's say that I am going to be requesting for the Blackmagic camera. My employee ID, I'm going to find myself. The reason is I need to record the Dev Fest. The location is going to be, let's say I'm going next to Calgary. I'm going to say that I'm going to take it to Calgary and then return it back on the 28th. And I hit save. And that's going to create a new request. So in theory, if everything I told Duet AI to do works, I should be receiving an email really soon requesting a new asset. And here it is. There's my email in my inbox creating a new request. So right now, so I don't know if you get the sense of how powerful this is, but at least for me it is, because I've built applications for more than 10 years, and this is not something that takes 5 minutes or 10, which is what it took to us. We have a full application that has roles, databases, workflows, automations, etc., out of the box without writing any single piece of code. And if you want to do something even further, you can create, for example, here I have the automation that pretty much when a request is created, is going to run this process, which is sending an email. You can modify this or create a new one. You say, I don't know, whenever an asset is deleted, I want to send an email to the person who had that asset, because I don't know what's going to happen with that asset. You can visually create workflows without, again, having to write a single piece of code. And you can even, again, create this as a conversational feature. So you can create even a chat that is going to enable to connect this as a conversational, in a conversational way. So I'm going to do this really quickly so you can see it. So what this does is going to make our application, everything that our application does, we're going to enable it in a conversational way. So in this way, if somebody wants to request an asset, it doesn't have to go to the app and fill the form. It can actually do it on a form, in the form of a conversation. And that over there, again, is yet another feature that might take 6 months to solve a problem, and we can do it in a matter of minutes. Hopefully it's not going to take too much time, but if not, we can skip this portion. Let's see. And what this is going to do is it's going to create a conversational chat, just like the one we just used here with Duet AI, but it's going to be the chat of our application, so we can request things like we just did to Duet AI. We're going to request, for example, to create a new asset or to request for a new asset, etc. So let's see if it's still done. There you go. Hello, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. And open an iView. I want to open a request. When somebody types request asset, I'm going to copy this. and creates an asset. Ah, yes. So the thing is that AppSheet can work within your workspace, and it's part of the plan. So if your company is paying for Google Workspace, you can use it within your company without having to pay extra cost. What is going to pay extra is if somebody that is outside your organization, let's say you're not working in my company, you're not in the plan of my workspace plan that I'm paying, so you're going to be an external user, and I'm going to charge you for that. But since I'm building an internal tool for my company, it's not going to charge anything because this is going to be internal. But yes, for external users, there is a cost associated. I have to deploy it. Move out to the deploy state. Okay, so my application is deployed, and let's see if I can, yep, done. Test, open chat. Okay, so in theory, I should be able to come here, and in spaces, I can find a app, and my app name is going to be Asset Management System. There it is. Let me add this to my space. And in theory, I can start chatting with my app, and I can use the command request asset, which is the command that we told to create. And I can add a new request. Again, I'm going to request the black magic for me, whatever reason, whatever location, and return date is going to be not 1970. That's 2095. In case we are still alive for that year, I'm going to return it on that date. And in theory, just like that, here it is. It created a new request that is actually being stored. And if we go to the data, we will be able to actually see the requests data. Let me see where I can find the data. Or actually, I should be able to just come here and see if I got an email for the. There you go. There's the new request that I just did, and it all happened within the chat experience. So you didn't have to write any piece of code again. It's part of a chat conversation, and it's all powered by Google. Again, a no-code and a low-code experience without having to write anything there. So no. So the first thing is that it looks like a proof of concept because we did it quickly, but it is actually very powerful. It runs with all of the infrastructure from Google, and you can deploy this to production and can support millions of requests without any problem. You just have to pay because, I mean, it's free to build, but it's not free for the end user that is going to start creating assets and new requests, etc. But you can deploy this to production and get final users to use it without problems. You don't have to worry about scalability, security, etc. It's all within the Google Cloud Workspace. So again, that answered the first question of the prototype. The second question is if, for example, do you want to access the code? No, because this is a no-code tool. And that actually takes me to the last portion. I don't know if you have any other questions, but I want to go to the last portion. So what happens if your company is not on Google? This example I just showed you is within the context of Google. Your users have to be on Google Workspace. They have to have a Google Workspace account. The data have to be on Google databases. Everything has to be on Google. And that's great, but not all companies are on Google. So what if I could build something running on Google Cloud that is private, secure, safe, fast, scalable, but getting data from my actual data sources? In real life, not every company has everything on Google. And I mean, that's normal. But here's the other option I wanted to show you, which is AppSmith. This case is pretty much the same as AppSheet in terms of the easy of building applications without having to write code, but you can connect data from multiple places. And it has even a bigger advantage, which is it's open source. You actually and literally get the code and run the code wherever you want, and you get the actual outcome of the code. You get to see the code. And AppSmith is behind a different type of certifications in terms of security, like PCI, COC2, etc. So it's a secure piece of code. But again, you have the opportunity to grab the code that it generates and deploy it to your server and see the code because it's open source, completely open source. AppSmith is, like I said, it's an open source platform builder for businesses to create fit-for-purpose internal tools, and it's used by AWS, by Dropbox, and many companies. And basically, again, if your data is in multiple places, you can bring it all together. Doesn't matter what it is. You can connect your data sources to AppSmith and start building applications, just like the one we did, but without the constraints of Google. Yet, you can run it on Google Cloud. It's not constrained to Google Cloud, though. If your company uses AWS or IBM Cloud, whatever, you can still use any of those providers. We're running. OK. So this is going to be your homework, because we are running short of time. But you can just easily go to appsmith.com, sign up for an account. Once you have an account, you can create a new application. Once you create an application, you have this application builder where you can bring your data source. It could be anything. It could be a data source from DynamoDB, Firestore, Microsoft SQL Server, Redis, MySQL, whatever. Here you can have even sample data. For example, I have a users table here that is just for sample. I can create a new query, and I can use AI here to ask whatever I need. I need to pull the users from the users table, order by name. And it's going to create a query for me because I don't know anything about SQL. Let's say I don't know anything about writing a complex query. That's fine. You ask AI, you give it a shot. Oh, there you go. It's pulling the data. And now I can bind that to a table widget, which then I can build custom logic around it with, again, AI. I just ask AI what I need in multiple places. Unfortunately, I ran out of time. But your homework is going to be go to appsmith.com, create a free account, connect your data source. Data source could be anything. Let's say you have a Google Sheet. That's fine. Connect a Google Sheet and build an application on the top of an Excel sheet. I mean, everybody uses Excel nowadays. Or if you have any of these data sources, you can connect it and start creating tables out of widgets, pages out of widgets, and you can drag and drop many widgets as you want. You drag here to the canvas. You then program what that specific field is going to have. You can ask AI about anything you need, let's say JavaScript expression, and when it's done, you deploy it, and then you export the code, and it's a full application you just built without writing any single piece of code. Yet, you have the capability of having the outcome of the code, of the source code. So that's one of the key benefits from Google versus, from AppSheet, AppSmith, versus AppSheet, or any of the other competitors, which is, again, you have the ability to self-host the application and run it in the way you want. So that's it for me. I hope you learned something, and if you did, share it on social media, follow me, and yeah, until the next one, I guess. You can find this video also later. They're going to upload it to YouTube, so you want to go back and maybe see it more calm or maybe with more energy. I know we're a bit tired already. You can go back and see the video and give it a shot to what I just showed. All right, thank you.